Hello, folks, and welcome to the Counting Sheep podcast. This is episode 66, and my name is Ruth, and this is my podcast all about the fibery arts, mostly crocheting, knitting, and spinning, and also what I get up to on my small sheep farm here in Vermont. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to all of the folks that have been with me, and also all of my new listeners. I received quite a bump up in viewership since my appearance on the Woolly Thistle podcast, which was just about, I think about 2.5 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, in that ballpark. So yeah, that was a lot of fun joining Maggie kind of in Corinne's stead. I certainly, those were pretty big shoes to fill over there on the Woolly Thistle podcast. I had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, it was great, great to be there. My role usually over there is kind of in the back, fulfilling all the orders. So if you're here, if you've come over new, I welcome you. I hope you find something that resonates with you here on my podcast. Yeah, so I usually start off with a weather report here in Vermont, here in the North Country. Winter is still here. The ground is still covered with snow. However, we are due to get 60-degree temperatures today. This is Monday, March 9th, I believe it is. Yeah, that I'm recording. So there is some spring in the air. But I have lived up here long enough to know that I am not going to be in other words, I will not get too used to it, because March tends to be one of those months that, we go back and forth pretty regularly in March. So yeah, so there's a saying up here that says, if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute. So it usually changes pretty quickly. But anyway, where to find me? I am Rabbit Lady on Ravelry. I am Counting Sheep at Sunrise Hill on Instagram and Threads. And I am Counting Sheep on Facebook. Also, I have a email for the podcast, and it is sunrisehillfarmandcrafts@gmail.com. So if you'd like to communicate, those are ways to get a hold of me. Although I do respond to email much better than the socials sometimes. Sometimes I take a little break from being on the screen so much, as you may feel that way yourself as well. What I am wearing, this is something I made several years ago. This is the Scalloway vest by Janine Lacrace, or Lacrace. I'll put it up on the screen because I have a tendency not to pronounce names correctly. And the yarn that I used is from the Unique Sheep, which is a indie dyer. She's an indie dyer in Florida. This is her gradients in her pashmi base. So I will show it to you here. This is a lacework vest. Stand up on my tippy toes, hopefully, and I won't fall over. Yeah, the lace goes all the way around. Yeah, this is a true favorite vest of mine, and it's a lightweight, lacy vest done in a fingering weight. And I like to pull it out on a day like today, where the temperature is going to slowly go up. And yeah, so I won't be too uncomfortable. So yeah, light layers for today. So yeah, so that's what I am wearing, and that's where you can find me. I'm going to dive right in. I have some things to share with you. I usually start with crochet here on the channel. So no finished objects yet in crochet. I'm pretty much going to be like a broken record here with my whips, but there are, I do have some progress to show. If you've been with me for a while, this is this project's something I've been working on since Christmas. You know, I had an advent calendar I was opening up with yarn every single day, a little yarn, and I am making the Lola cardigan, which is a crochet cardigan by Lilla Bjorn. That's her designer name. And let me just show you, I am pretty much done with the sleeves. I'm still trying to decide on the finishing for the sleeves, but let me show you. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. This, of course, is the cardigan here. That's one view of it with not as much color in it as I have. Let me just pull this beast out of here. Here's my bag full of minis. I decided to just take everything out of the box and kind of consolidate and whatnot. If you've been with me, you know I had everything in a box. This is the main color, which I got in Arizona a couple years ago. And this is my inspiration photo. So I think this was one of the first, probably one of the first cardigans that the designer did. And then when she went to write up the pattern, she kind of downscaled the colors to make it more approachable, I think, is my guess. So anyway, this is mine. Very colorful yoke, but as you can see, I took the colors down into the sleeves. So here is where my sleeve is going to end. I did taper it in a little bit, which is what the instructions tell you to do. But here is where I did start to follow the directions at the end. Now, at the end, they have you do kind of a picot finishing. So the picots look like this. And I wasn't quite sure if I wanted that at the end of the sleeve. I may just taper it down a little bit more and then be done with it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I really wanted all that decorative stuff at the end of the sleeve. I just have a feeling it's just going to get dirty. I know myself, you know, like when I'm in the kitchen and stuff, things get wet, you know, and and whatnot. So so I think I might make the decision to just keep it real simple and forego putting the picots on. But I was doing the sleeves at the same time, so they're identical. So I took the colors and, you know, moved them back and forth. So I did the blue on this side. When I was done with the blue, I brought it over here and did this side. So still undecided about what I'm going to do at the bottom and for the button bands. I still have quite a bit of the gray left. Yeah, so yeah, now I'm thinking more and more I might do a ribbing that doesn't pull in. I might do a ribbing and then do the button band, but I might just put 3 buttonholes at the top, because honestly, who buttons a cardigan all the way down to the bottom anymore? I mean, I think just the top closed and then leave the rest of it open would suit me just fine. So yeah, let me turn it around. It looks better on this side right now without all the ends sticking out. So yeah, so this was such an enjoyable piece to do. And now that I'm seeing kind of the end of the, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, it's even more enjoyable. So yeah, and making the decisions along the way too has been equally as enjoyable. But last night when I got to the end of the sleeve, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to halt there because I need to take some time and really think about how I want the end of the sleeve to go. And that's okay, you know. Sometimes if you rush decisions, you end up not liking what you do. So yeah, that is the Lola cardigan. And once again, done with Advent minis that came from a Toad Hollow Advent box. Toad Hollow is two sisters who dye yarn in New Jersey. So yeah, let me put that all together so that stays in one place. Crochet hook and all. All right, so my next whip is the Melrose vest, and I showed you this the last time. I had the back almost done. Well, it's done now, but I have not progressed past that point. If you recall, I showed this on the Woolly Thistle Shop cast. It's from this Journal of Scottish Yarns, issue 8. This has wonderful patterns in, as I've spoken about before. This is the Melrose vest here. This also has another crochet pattern in here by Faye Dashper Hughes, who I adore as a designer. She's a British designer. Let me just find it for you. I hope to make this one as well. This is the Kin cardigan. It's going to be probably real difficult showing up since it's in blue. But I think it's done up in two different, or in a different colorway too. Yeah, here. So you can see kind of the contrast there. And this particular journal is good if you do both knitting and crochet, because it has a little bit of both in here for you. And there are other crafts and other articles in here. It's just what Corrine says is it's meaty. You know, it has a lot to it. So, but anyway, let me just show you real quick. It'll probably not even look any different, except for the fact that I basically finished this off up top here, and it's just curling in a little bit. But basically all the stitches have been finished off. It's got a little crease in it because it's been in my bag. But here is the finished back all together. It's got to probably be blocked pretty aggressively just to smooth out the bottom band. Yeah, and so now I'm getting excited to start the front. So yeah. So that's just briefly the Melrose vest. Just wanted to put a placeholder in for that here, that I'm still working on it. So yeah, and this is living in my beautiful bag from my good friend Tammy, who I saw during spa, which was great. More about that later. All right, and then finally in crochet, I am making a textured rib cardigan, a sweater for my little great nephew on my husband's side. He is a very active 2-year-old, and I made the sweater for him as a newborn size, and his mom requested one that he can grow into, so we both decided on a 3 to 4-year-old size. So here is the pattern. The designer's name is Oxana Sorokin. This was a test knit that I did, and I have been going gangbusters on this, and I'm happy to report that I just have one more piece to make. And so I have, let's see, I have a, right, where are we here? Pieces galore. All right, I have a right front. I have a left front with buttonholes in it. I have a back. Woohoo, a back. And I have one sleeve. So I just need one more sleeve, and then I can seam it all up and then do a collar, and then it will be done. When I saw my friend Tammy last weekend, she had the most cutest buttons for the cardigan. I just need to share these with you. They're stinking adorable, and they're in rainbow colors. So I get red, orange, and little cars for a little boy. I've got yellow, green, and blue. And so there's purple here as well. Yeah, and there's 2 red here. Yeah, and 2 blue. So more than enough for the cardigan. It only takes 5 buttons. So I was so happy. I got the cardigan out and we put them on, and oh, they're perfect. So I just can't wait to get it done now. I'm like going gangbusters on it because I want to sew the buttons on, just take pictures, and then get it off to his parents. And I want to see him in it. And so it's great when a project really speaks to you like that, you know, when you can gift something that is really useful and is cute, you know. And small objects, you know, small sweaters are always so cute, you know. So yeah, so that is the textured rib cardigan. And if you're interested, this is really very squishy. And she does make an adult version of this as well. So you can find it on Ravelry, textured rib cardigan. Yeah, I actually made one for my husband. So very warm sweater, very, very warm. And this is done in yarn by Mary Maxim. It's their acrylic, and I believe it's, I don't have the ball band here, but it's their, I'll put it up on the screen because I've got things dropping on the floor now. All right, so that'll be it for crochet. And moving on to knitting, I actually have a finished object. So the saga is over. If you know, you know. I finally finished my socks. Actually, I wanted to do more. I wanted to put more length on these, but I finally decided that when you're done, you know. But these are the socks that I was making out of this lovely yarn that I got in Quebec City one year when I went up for the Christmas market. So, and this lovely person is going to be at Twist Textile Festival, which is in August, and it's in Quebec. Not in Montreal proper, but west of Montreal. And this was the actual yarn that I was using, and here are the socks. Sorry, I don't have my sock blockers up here, but I think they look better on their own. So as you can see, I did the heel flap and gusset. These were toe-up socks. And I used the solid color that came with the sock set to do the toes and the cuff. And I did a stretchy bind off they fit very, very well. The only thing here is you'll see a little wonky stripe in both of them. And that's kind of due to when I turned the heel, when the heel flap and gusset came around. That happened to be what was coming out of the ball at the time. Now, what I can do, if I want to bother, I can probably take some of the purple yarn and just duplicate stitch over that and make it a solid purple stripe. I'll have to see how much it bothers me. I can also close up this hole too. There's a little bitty hole here and on this side as well. Yeah, so I probably will go back in and close up that hole there. And it's right where you can kind of continue going and duplicate stitch. So, but other than that, they are done. So, yay. I've had them on already, just to try them on, and they fit very, very well. So, very proud of those. I was talking to my friend Tammy about this, and we were truly, I was saying that, I probably can do one sock at a time so that it doesn't seem like it's so overwhelming, but when you get to the end of one sock, you have to immediately cast on the second one. Otherwise, you will have, I will have only one sock. So, and thank you for all your comments, by the way, about how you knit socks. So that was very helpful to me. It's so interesting how there's so many different ways to knit socks. And it's interesting to me, just the variety, and how you can switch it up and see what works for you, and also the different needles and that sort of thing kind of uses the different muscles in your hands and your fingers and that sort of thing. So if you're cramping up using one particular needle or one particular method, you can switch it up and see if something else is working better. So yeah, that's very helpful, helpful to me, and it may be helpful to you as well. So yeah, so those are my kind of this is kind of a vanilla sock recipe, really. I didn't do anything special here. Just kind of, I chose different things, around toe up toe and heel flap and gusset. My next pair of socks might be just a short row heel. Your heel decisions are made as to what fits your foot the best. So all right, so those are the socks. And then I showed last time a new thing that I wanted to cast on, and it was the Friendliest Snowman by Susan B. Andersen. And this was it was kind of an Advent thing from 2024. Everything came with this nice bag of, it was the Good Tidings kind of Advent thing. And she designed the bag. And I think this pattern's been released and you can get the yarn. I'm not sure if the actual kit, the kit might not be available right now. Her kits come and go as availability. You have to check the website, but I know the pattern's available. So that's this cute snowman here. And as you know, with me coming and going to spa and all, there was just kind of limited time to do stuff, but I was kind of, wondering how much stuff I could get done in the 2 weeks since my last podcast, with everything going on. But I was good with this, I think I I did okay. So I just got a little bit of his bottom done. And then I was kind of, I hadn't worked with mohair in a bit, working a strand of mohair along with a strand of the yarn, the actual wool, but it's really like riding a bicycle. So as is most knitting. So here is the bottom. With the Good Tidings box came a bunch of really cute stitch markers, and I just have to show you the little snowman stitch marker because he's so darn cute. And I have to use him when I'm making a snowman. And it is still March here. There's still snow on the ground, so I am justified in making a snowman. So here is the mohair, and then this is the wool that I'm using. And I did show you the other two patterns that came with the box, or yeah, the Good Tidings box. These little birds. And there was enough yarn to make all of these. And then these little guys. So I am going to try to make all of them if I can. There's gray wool here. There's red wool. Yeah, so green wool. It's kind of a challenge trying to make sure it can all fit back in the bag, but it does, so. Yeah, so that is the Friendliest Snowman, and just making some, steady progress on that. Fun to pick it up and put down. She writes a very good pattern, so well worth looking into that if you're liking little projects. Okay, so that's it for knitting. I just wanted to show you what I acquired over the weekend that I went to Spa. If you're unfamiliar with Spa, it's kind of a end of February weekend up here in New England. It's held for 3 days in Freeport at the Hilton and the Harriseket hotels, and there are some vendors that come in on Friday night, all day Saturday, and then half day on Sunday. But we pretty much kind of take over the hotel. We sit in the lobby. There's a whole building where the spinners kind of congregate, and I'll put some footage in at the end. And we just kind of sit around, chat, catch up with old friends, and yeah, just have a good time and get some spinning done, get some crafting done. It's kind of a nice chill weekend. There is a store called Mother of Pearl in Freeport, which is a lovely yarn store. And at that store, I usually stop there on my way to the Hilton where I stay for the weekend. And I usually buy something there. So I wanted to share that with you. They had a beautiful cowl that was sitting on a mannequin, which I immediately had to go and take off the mannequin and try on. Something about this past winter has really made me very wanting something warm around my neck and shoulders. So this is a free pattern. This is called the Frost at Dawn Cowl. It's by Beatrice Perrin Dolan, and I'll put that up on the screen. If I have the pattern is in black and white. Mother of Pearl gave me a black and white copy, but it is free. It's available on Ravelry. Excuse me. And if I can get a picture, I'll put one up. But I tried it on. I loved how it felt and fit on my shoulders. So I said, okay, sold. They had it done up in this beautiful yarn, and it's I'm not, in the past, I've never been a big alpaca fan, but lately the alpaca blends have been really, really nice. Some of the ones that I have felt. So this one is a 63% alpaca and 37% polyamide. It is called Manchique. This is Rosario's 4. And the color I chose is kind of like a real butternut squash type color. It's number 13. And it takes just 3 balls of the color. Now you can do this in a sport or a worsted. This, the girl in the store told me this is really rated as an Aran weight. I think if you play with the numbers in this pattern, you can probably do this cowl in any weight yarn. And you can kind of work off the numbers that are given in the pattern as kind of a launch point, So I'm using the worsted weight numbers for this. And so we'll see how we go. I did have to cast it on because that's who I am. So, so yeah, I didn't get very far. So, but it's just kind of a cool, it's got this garter stitch interspersed with stockinette. And then, it has the nice tassel in front to kind of weight it down, and I liked how this felt, and it just felt like a hug, on my shoulders. So yeah, that was one acquisition, and that was from Mother of Pearl, the yarn store in Freeport. And then, of course, I had to visit the vendors in the market, and there's so much temptation there, of course. And one place that I love to look at things, and all weekend long, there were spinning braids hanging up from a lot of vendors. So spinning braids are basically just fiber that's braided up, so that you can look at the color and you can feel the fiber and that sort of thing. And Port Fiber, which is a store in Portland, Maine. Casey Ryder is the proprietor. She always has lovely combinations of fiber. And I was petting this all weekend, and then finally on Sunday I bit the bullet and said I have to have this. So, and I chose the naked color. I chose an undyed braid. So in case I really, really like it, I'm going to be able to get more of it and not have to worry about a dye lot or anything. But so anyway, this is 50% camel and 50% silk. And it is really as luscious as it looks. It's very lustrous and very, very soft. Yeah, it just spoke to me. It didn't help that one of the other ladies I was sitting with bought this in a kind of lichen color. And I thought, oh, that is beautiful. Once again, thinking in the cowl, way, thinking this would make a beautiful cowl. And it feels just wonderful on your neck. So yeah, this will probably end up that way. So stay tuned. Not like I need any more fiber to spin, for sure, but and then finally, in acquisitions, there are 2 different free tables at Spa. Free meaning, yes, indeed, the stuff on it is free. And people bring things all the time, stuff that they've fallen out of love with, or things they're no longer using that are still good to use, what have you. The one table is in the huge room where all the spinners hang out, and then the other table is over by the vendors in a separate room. I usually bring my off off, like my spare, extras of yarn, things from projects that are done, that sort of thing. Things that have been given to me that I can't use. I usually bring a big bag of yarn over there, but this didn't even reach the free table. One of my friends had been gifted this, and this wasn't her colors, and they are mine. So I wanted to show it to you. And this is a sock set from Hue Local. And this is from the Hens collection, and this is Partridge Silky Bantam is what this one's called. So let me just show it to you there. It comes with 2 different minis, so those are the minis there. And yes, the Backyard collection. Yeah, she kind of pegged me and my friend Tammy as people who kind of like these colors, and so she brought it to us before she even threw it out on the free table, and she said, here, you guys can fight over this. She had another lot of yarn from a mill that is no longer in service, and so so it was kind of hard because I know Tammy wanted this one. But I had never knitted with anything from Hue Loco, and this was just calling my name. So yeah, and since, I wanted to make some more socks this year, so it was kind of, right up my alley. So anyway, there is probably my next set of socks coming fast and furious to you, so we'll see. But yeah, I was really enamored by that. All right, so I think that's going to do it for me on this go around. I hope you are all able to find some crafting time, and that you're all staying safe. Yeah, let's dig in. Let's all, stay safe, be well, and I will see you the next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.